Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
You turn the time circuits on.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Time won't give me time. Gotta get back in time. Time after time.
This is where the past comes alive. Decades with Joe E. Kramer starts now.
Well, another week, and we lost another one. I talked about Eddie Money last week, which we're going to be talking more about him tonight. And Rick Ocasek passed away at the age of 75. Another great Don. The Cars, shake it up.
Dance all night, play all day. Don't let nothing get in the way. Dance all night, keep the beat. Don't you worry about you, let me shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Dance all night, get real loose. You don't need no bad excuse. Dance all night with anyone. Don't let nobody pick your phone. Shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, shake it up. Shake it up. Dance all night. Dance all night. Go all night. Shake it up. All you got. Dance. Dance all night, whirl your hair. Make the night dance stop and stare. Dance all night, go to work. Do the move with the quickie jerk. Shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, shake it up. Shake it up. Dance all night. Get so right. Dance all night. Shake it up. All you got. Shake it up. Make a scene. Let 'em know what you really mean. Dance all night. Keep the beat. Don't you worry about doing that beat. Shake it up. 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 Shake it up, baby. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up, baby. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up. Yeah, yeah. Shake it up. Shake it up. Shake it up.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Decades is everywhere. Everywhere.
Hey everybody,
everywhere.
this is Gary Graham from Honeymoon Suite, and you're listening to Decades with Joey Kramer.
The two of us are one of a kind. Our combination ain't easy to find. Why do I get a feeling from you? Things ain't right. Do you need something new? Knowing how both of us live leaves us so little to give. If I could grow wings, I would do anything just to keep you with me. Can't you see? If I could fly high, I would give you the sky. Don't you make that mistake. fly with me, we'd never have to land. It's easy to live hard and fast, but inside we know it won't last. Yeah. If I could grow wings, I would do anything just to keep you with me. Can't you see? If I could fly high, I would give you the sky. Don't you make that mistake. It's a love that I need. What does it take? Knowing how both of us live leaves us so little to give. Yeah. If I could grow wings, I would do anything just to keep you with me. Can't you see? If I could fly high, I would give you the sky. Don't you make that mistake. What does it take? If I could grow wings, I would do anything just to keep you with me. Can't you see? If I could fly high, I would give you the sky. Don't you make that mistake. What does it take?
Oh, I say it every time. One of the greatest love songs in the 1980s. My senior prom theme at Wyoming Valley West, class of 1990. I think I rigged it that year, but I was in charge of the prom theme at the radio station. I played about 45 seconds of this one and 10 seconds of everything else. Like a bunch of gerbils, right? It worked. What can I tell you?
Joey Kramer. Joey Kramer. Turn it up. This is Decades.
All right, 5 full hours of retro radio. That's what we're doing tonight. And a very special Decades Artist Spotlight. My last interview with Eddie Money about a year and a half ago or so. So we're going to play that at 9 o'clock. You don't want to miss it. The late, great Eddie Money. And a lot more music from The Cars right here on Decades.
Apart from anyone
Decades with Joe E. Kramer and another lost track from the 80s.
Hello? Who is this? Phone calls are a waste of time. I must have my number changed or trace these calls from whence they came. If Alexander Bell were alive today, would he let the telephone to be used this way? Find someone else to bother. Mr. Obscene phone caller. Why don't you get off breathing on the phone? Leave me alone. Listen, Leo, I don't understand why you're calling me, you know? I don't know who you all are. You know, you call me every day, you breathe on the phone. You just let me know if you're a girl or something. Maybe I'll talk to you, but, you know, you don't say anything but... Find someone else to bother. I've seen phone caller. Get off breathing on the phone. See phone caller. Leave me Find someone else to bother. See phone caller. Dirty little nasty twit.
How about it? Remember Rockwell? Somebody's watching me, Rockwell, that guy? Kennedy William Gordy, his name was, yes. Barry Gordy, the chief CEO, owner, operator, and legend of the Motown label, had a son who wanted to make music, so he actually went under a different name, called himself Rockwell. Now, it doesn't hurt when you get Michael Jackson and Jermaine Jackson to come in the studio with you. You wonder how that happened. But anyway, they were all in on it. Somebody's Watching Me was his big hit. That was his second top 40 hit. Yes, he had 2 hits, believe it or not, and 3 albums. Obscene Phone Caller hit number 35 in 84. And, of course, Somebody's Watching Me was number 1 in the United States and all around the world. Came close again in 1985 from his album The Genie, but that is all she wrote for Rockwell. All right, now you want to talk about a hit maker. Of course, Rick Ocasek passed away this week, 75 years old. Another great. Of course, Benjamin Orr passed away about 20 years ago. The keyboardist, Rick Ocasek now. Seems like we lose a different one every single day or week. Eddie Money before that on September 13th. I had the pleasure of talking to Eddie a few times. He was always gracious, always great. And I'm going to play my last interview, the last time I talked to him, which was about 1.5 years ago, I think. About 18 months ago. So I'm going to replay that interview coming up at 9 o'clock in the Decades Artist Spotlight as we salute Eddie Money and his music this week. We got more Decades coming up. Don't go anywhere. Kool and the Gang, The New Kids, and an 8-track classic flashback by a true teen idol and a Hardy Boy. You don't want to miss it. It is Decades Around the World. Decades with JoeEKramer.com. Also, check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on our Radio Bold app for your iPhone or Android device. And, of course, right here on the river, 105 and 103.5. Hang on.
And do not attempt to change the frequency.
Changing channels is not only foolhardy, but also extremely dangerous.
We know. That's what everybody says.
So I don't believe you ought to try it.
Now, back to the music. This is Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
Mind is yearning, restless night, wanna be with you. Someone's playing in the garden, so enticing, should I take a bite? I don't know what's come over me, yeah. She's as heavy as a Chevy, pure excitement. When she touches, can't resist her. I'm a puppet when she's playing. She's outgoing, but I love her so. Miss Larry. So I say now, baby, what's your claim to fame? Got me out of bed, call my name. What's this crazy place? Wanna take me to? Tell me what's the price? If I go with you, my heart
It's Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
Northeast PA's the river.
They just can't give up on the reboots, right? Another reboot is coming from a Saturday morning show. Beastie Boys first. Hey, ladies. Paul's Boutique right here. It's Decades on the River 105 and 103.5. Turn it up.
Hey, ladies in the place, I'm calling out to you. I never was a city kid, you were answer one. More to me than you'll ever know. And I got more hits than Sarah Horror. Tom Cushman, Tom Foolery. Women on TV with the help of Chuck Woolery. Words flowing out just like the Grand Canyon. And I'm always out looking for a female companion. Around the doors when I drag it to the crib. Stop boxing. Put on in. Wheeling and dealing, I make a little bit of a steal. I bring it back to the place. And you're I'm feeling. Your body's on time and your mind is appealing. Staring at the cracks up there up on the ceiling. Such and such, you need a maze that I'm doing. I'm talking to the girl, telling her I'm all knowing. She's talking to the kid, she's the kid. I'm telling her every lie that you know that I never did. Hey, ladies, get funky. All the ladies in the house. The ladies. Hit a corner with a girl, look at daughter. I dropped my drawers. Welcome back, car. Who's cutting up the rug? She started cutting up the coffee. In my apartment. The gift of cat. It's the gift that I have. And that girl ain't nothing but a friend. You're educated. No. Stupid. Yeah. And when I say stupid, I mean stupid. I'm not James at 15 or Chachi in charge. I'm out of it. With the white tattoos and then the looks to kill. Making love in the back of my coupe bit. I met a little cutie, she was all up on Sooty. I left the little cutie, but I kicked her in the booty. Cause I don't kinda go for that messing around. You be listening to my reputation #1 sound. Just step to the rhythm, step to the rhyme. I got an open mouth, so want you all get inside. Tune in, turn on, to a tune that's live. Ladies flock like bees to a hive. Hey ladies, get funky. Hey, ladies! Hey, ladies! One more time. Ain't it funky now? Hey, ladies! Ain't it funky? You know that she gotta go too. You know she's hardcore. She'll show you a good time, then she'll show you the door. Rockin' with your girl. It ended in tears. Bitch, her back door, go and nail that ear. Call her in the middle of the night when I'm drinking. The phone was on the corner and and it's stinking. Said coming over, it was minutes you missed. I do the touch that door, window door. You know what comes in. Your old lady left you and you went insane. You blew yourself up in the back of Ground Exchange. Take my advice at any price. A gorilla like your mother is mighty weak. Sucking down pipes until it didn't know. Woke up in the morning with the one-ton hose. Cause I like girls about with the weight to pay. About a pound per ounce. Girls in red, big, long locks, and beatnik chicks just wearing their smocks. Walking high and mighty like she's #1. She thinks she's the passionate one. Hey, ladies, get funky. Here's the funky brother. Hey, ladies.
This is Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
Step by step, ooh baby, gonna get to you, girl. Step by step. Step by step, ooh baby, gonna get to you, girl. Step by step, ooh baby, really want you in my
summer, which was playing to an average of about 13 to 14,000 people per night. Heading back in the studio. They want to record another album and get back on tour next summer. Maybe another mixtape. This year's was probably the best, better than years past. So how do you top Tiffany, Debbie Gibson, and the New Kids all on one stage? I don't know. The Alarm on stage with Gene Loves Jezebel, or what's left of them. Rain in the Summertime on Decades.
Hello people, this is Mike Peters from The Alarm. You're listening to the famous Decades with Joey Kramer.
Under the
crack open a new Coke and slip on those leg warmers. This is Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
She'll let you know, just prepare yourself and be ready to go. And I hope this message stays in your mind, cause you almost lost a girl who was right on time. Here's one more thing that you got to know, just cool it down and stay in control. Got to cool it down. Watch out, you're gonna lose control. Cool it down. Better slow it down. Cause you're gonna fall in love.
with Joe E. Kramer gives you this week's 8-track classic flashback.
When I was 16, sick of school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I bought a guitar, I got the fever, that's rock and roll. I played at parties, played in bars, I spent my money buying new guitars. I scream my heart out, but how I love it, that's rock and roll. Well, come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, that's rock and roll. It's when the smoking and the heat have got your heart pounding right with the beat. Don't try to fight it, just get excited. That's rock and roll. Now don't you worry about being a star. It doesn't matter who or what you are. Just get the rhythm and let it fill you. That's rock and roll. Well, come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down. That's rock and roll. Well, come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down. That's rock and roll. And if you feel it, clap your hands. Let loose some sweat for the boys in the band. Now let me hear ya, let me hear ya. That's rock and roll. Everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down. That's rock and roll. Oh yeah. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down. That's rock and roll.
Come on, see, if you had any older sisters like I did, you knew exactly who Sean Cassidy was. He was a Hardy Boy. He had a bunch of hits in the late 70s. The Do Run Run hit number 1. Then that song, That's Rock and Roll, hit number 3, who originally done by Eric Carmen and Houdini, hit number 7, Do You Believe in Magic, hit 31, and that was all she wrote. And of course, he was the Hardy Boy, and he was on General Hospital, Murder, She Wrote. But he's basically a writer and producer. New Amsterdam, which I believe is on NBC. He's been writing and producing for that most recently. And he's the half-brother of David Cassidy, of course. All right, reboot. How about this? Saved by the Bell is now got the green light for a reboot. They're rebooting Saved by the Bell with all the original characters. However, it's going to be on the new Peacock Network, which is the NBC streaming service. All these you know, it's bad enough we pay $200 a month for cable or satellite or whatever, and now it's like you have to get the streaming services too if you want to watch a lot of the show. If you'd have told me I was paying $200 a month for cable 20 years ago, I would have told you you're nuts. Never would happen. All right, we got a lot happening tonight. We're going to do Hairspray at 8 next. Then, after 9 o'clock, the Decades Artist Spotlight. We are going to play my last interview with Eddie Money, who passed away a little over a week ago. I loved Eddie Money. He was fantastic, and he was such a great guy. So that's after 9. Hairspray at 8 is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. This is Decades right here on the river, 105 and 103.5 around the world at Decades with JoeEKramer.com. More Decades coming up.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
It's 8 o'clock.
This is Ted Poley of Danger Danger.
This is Lorraine Lewis for the band Femme Fatale.
Hey, this is Kelly Kagan from Night Ranger.
And I am on Decades with Joey Kramer.
You're listening to Joe E. Kramer, Decades.
And you're rocking Decades with my buddy Joey Kramer.
This is where the past comes alive. Hairspray at 8 starts now.
All right, here we go. It's 8 o'clock. It's Saturday night. That means it's the only original. The one everybody copies. And, of course, it's live. It's Hairspray at 8. New lead singer Jizzy Pearl. Yeah, it's another day for Quiet Riot.
Got my head to the grindstone. I'm trying to act like a fool. My head is a lampshade. They can't find me in school. Well, I'm an animal. Yes, I'm a cannibal. They say I'm out for blood. One thing I want to do is party all night. Oh, party all night. Oh, party all night. Yeah, all night long. Try me right way on the wrong side. I bet too much to drink. Women in the backseat, they don't know what to think. They say I've lost my head. You're probably in the dead, but they're too blind to see what's important to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's the party all night. Oh, let's party all night. Oh, party all night. Yeah, all Paradise parties. I'm on a one-way cruise, looking for trouble. We got nothing to lose. They're on the telephone. They're trying to send me home. We've gone above and down. We got a new kind of school. Let's party all night. Let's party all night. Party all night. Let's party all night. Let's party all night. We're party animals, baby. We got nothing to lose. Let's party all night. Let's party, boys.
How high was your hair? This is Hairspray at 8. This is Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
I can feel my heart is breaking, and I can't go on.
Kramer, they've released their Slip of the Tongue 30th anniversary. 30th anniversary. And it seems the thing to be doing. A lot of bands are doing it. And this one's actually worth it. I mean, you get a ton of stuff. I was looking online at this because I love to see when they release this stuff if it's really worth it. Now, $84 will get you it signed, okay? But normally I think it will run you about $74 or so. But you get a lot of stuff. And if you go to the Whitesnake website, David Coverdale talks about it, and that's worth it. I mean, it's truly, it is amusing. Gets the original 1989 album remastered. You get your bonus discs, your bonus tracks, right? You get the Waging Tongue edition. You get the 3 Evolution demos. You get the monitor mixes. You get a trip to Granny's house, which was a recording studio. What else? You get Live at Donington in 1990. You get the DVD video. So you get a lot of stuff for like $79. You could also just get the CD version of it, which I think is a lot cheaper. It's like $24.98, something like that. But they're all doing it. And that was actually my favorite Whitesnake album. I liked it than even the previous one, Whitesnake, with, Here I Go Again and all that stuff. Slip of the Tongue was probably their best album, and then they took a break for a while after that. Firehouse Acoustic, All She Wrote.
I got home late on Saturday night, and I knew right away something wasn't right. Oh, I knew she was gone. She took all I had, but left a hole in my heart. Should've known it too bad, right from the start. What did I do wrong? I can't understand how she could leave me this way, with nothing to say. Then I found a note on the door. It said goodbye and she don't want me no more. Bye bye baby, bye bye, she said in the letter. And that was all she wrote. Guess this is goodbye, guess this is forever. And that was all she wrote. I called on the phone, but she wasn't there. Should've known all along that she just didn't care. Why did she have to go? Oh no. And now I look at her picture and I wonder why she left me this way. Why did she say goodbye? I guess I'll never know. Whoa, still I can't understand how she could leave me this way, with nothing to say. I remember the note on the door. It said goodbye and she don't want me no more. Bye bye baby, bye bye, she said in the letter. And that was all she wrote. Guess this is goodbye, guess this is forever. And that was all she wrote. Bye bye baby, bye bye, she said in the letter. And that was all she wrote. Guess this is goodbye, guess this is forever. And that was all she wrote. Baby, bye bye, she said in the letter. And that was all she wrote. Guess this is goodbye, guess this is forever. And that was all she wrote. All she wrote. Baby, bye bye, oh, she said in the letter. Bye baby, bye bye.
This is Hairspray at 8.
The biggest hits, the river.
from the Unmasked album, which I don't think got enough credit. I really like that album. Unmasked had a lot of great tunes on it, but I was browsing around on the internet. I couldn't believe what I found. I don't go on eBay at all because it just lost what it was originally created for. I mean, when eBay first came out, it was phenomenal. I used to be on it all the time. Now it's just like another store. I mean, you don't find any really good deals, but I was on there for some reason looking for something, and I came across air guitar strings, which reminded me of this. Now, this particular person was selling her Kiss air guitar strings for, get this, $350. Now, these were sold in Las Vegas a few years back at $3.99. Now, it is just a bag of air. There's nothing in it. It is endorsed by Kiss. Kiss made millions of dollars off of selling a $3.99 bag of air. And believe it or not, this person who is looking for $300 and some for this bag of air had at this point, I think, 35 or 40 bids. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. But it's true. I think it's over now, the auction. But this is going about 5 days. I'm gonna have to look and see if it's over or not. But yes, Kiss air guitar strings, and I guess you can't get them anymore. So now they're hawking for $300 and some on eBay. True story. You can't make these things up, I swear. All right, coming up after 9 o'clock, don't forget Eddie Money, who passed away last week. Rick Ocasek, of course, passed away last week, too. I mean, we lost a couple of them. And I had the opportunity to talk to Eddie Money a few times. Great guy. Always very appreciative of everything you do for him and the music and the fans. It's a great loss. I talked to him the last time about a year and a half ago. I'm going to replay that final interview. He was heading up to play at Mohegan Sun Pocono right here where my studio is located, and we had a chance to talk. So I'm going to play that interview after 9 o'clock in a special Decades Artist Spotlight. Don't go anywhere. We got Rat on the way. What else? Black and Blue and Tom Kiefer's new album, Rise, came out. We're going to play that title track coming up. Don't go anywhere. This is Hairspray at 8. This is Decades. On the River 105 and 103.5 around the world, Decades with JoeEKramer.com and a Radio Bolt app for your iPhone or Android device. More Decades coming up next. Don't go anywhere. I promise. We'll be back very soon. Hang on.
This is Hairspray at 8 with Joe E. Kramer. Turn it up.
You take the midnight subway train. You call another shots. You strip a lightning. You're in love. You take the evening one-on-one. You're only living to have fun. You want to usually take me home tonight. I'll make you wish that you were mine. You strip a lightning. You're in love. It's not worth fighting. Well, turn around, remember me. I'm the one who's out and aimed to bleed. You're in love. You're making living, loving hot. You're spinning like a
still out there on tour. We were told a new album in 2018. We're told it's new album in 2019. Now they're talking about 2020. But there will be a new album. That's the good thing. And everybody's saying Tommy Thayer, hey, is he going to be going back to Black and Blue afterwards? Who knows? One of my favorites, Miss Mystery, Black and Blue, Hairspray at 8.
Well, the first time that I saw you, you were running with the wrong crowd, with your head up in a dark cloud. You know I had this funny feeling that you were coming for trouble, but I never knew. So here I go, just running after you. Hello, Miss Mystery. Here you are, so far from me. Someday, Miss Mystery, you'll spare me all this misery. We had a big misunderstanding. You said love could tie you down. You tell me you can't hang around. Oh. And now it's getting too demanding. Yeah, you're bringing me down. You're playing your game. I'm tied to the tracks, just waiting for the train. Hello, Miss Mystery. Here you are, so far from me. Someday you'll set me free and spare me all this misery. Hello, Miss Mystery. Here I am, what's left of me. Someday, Miss Mystery, you're gonna find out what you meant to me. So I had this funny feeling I should forget about you. Don't wanna pretend, but here we are, right back where we began. Hello, Miss Mystery. Here you are, so far from me. Someday you'll set me free and spare me all this misery. Hello, Miss Mystery. Here I am, what's left of me. Someday, Miss Mystery, you'll spare me all this misery.
This is Hairspray at 8.
The biggest hits, the river. Keep on walking that road and I'll follow. Keep on calling my name, I'll be there. And if a mirror should break, it's easy to take. Deep down I know that you care. Well, I'm not superstitious. No. Ooh. I'm not superstitious. I have no doubt that there's a reason how things turn out. While things are changing from day to day, well, I keep this feeling with me all the way. superstitious. No. There might be times of wonder when I'm on my own, trying to find out if love has gone. It might make a difference, it might bring me down, but no superstition is gonna turn things around. And I want you to know that you're on my mind every day, all of the time. So keep on walking that road and I'll follow. Keep on calling my name, I'll be there. Yeah. And if a mirror should break, it's easy to take. Deep down I know that you care. Well, I'm not superstitious. No. No. So keep on walking, and we'll make things right. Yeah, keep on dreaming each and every night. We're gonna make it, and that's what we'll do. Right to the end, girl. We're gonna walk on through. So keep on walking that road, and I'll follow. Keep on calling my name, I'll be there. Yeah. And if the mirror should break, it's easy to take. Deep down I know that you care. So keep on walking that road and I'll follow. Yeah. Keep on calling my name, and I know I'll be there. And if the mirror should break, it's easy to take. Deep down I know that you care. Well, I'm not superstitious.
You're superstitious right here. I'm Hairspray at 8.
Superstitious.
All right, don't forget, Michael Sweet's got a brand new album coming out. This guy, one of the hardest working men in the business. We're going to have to get him back on the show to talk about his new studio album coming out October 11th called 10. Striper here, always there for you.
Love can be so cold, and loneliness gets old. More than words of broken promises. I want to show you what to love is.
spandex never felt so good. This is Hairspray at 8 with Joe E. Kramer.
How much hairspray do you use? This is Hairspray at 8 on Decades.
My world has been falling, days upside down. The sky is a new shade of black. I breathe in the fire, exhale the dark. Somehow it always creeps back. Feeling my heart through every fly. Seeing the light burning out through my eyes. Proud last mile, shine in the rain. I'll stand again. I'm gonna rise up. I'm gonna rise up. My soul has been floating, standing around all in the upside down. Sky is a new shade of black.
It is Hairspray at 8, and the brand new one from Tom Kiefer, or the Tom Kiefer Band, however you want to say it. His new album, Rise, is phenomenal. It really is. I heard it twice this week, and that's actually the new video that's out. It's a full video for it. And, go on YouTube. You'll be able to check it out there. We're going to have Tom on the show. I'm waiting for a date that he'll be on. Still waiting for that date. Hopefully sometime this week I'll knock that down and get something firm. All right. We're going to finish up Hairspray at 8 after a little break here. And then at 9 o'clock, the Decades Artist Spotlight. A very special one tonight. Eddie Money passed away about a week ago. Although we knew he had cancer, it was a shock. And he ended up actually dying from complications to a heart valve replacement. And I had Eddie on the show a few times. Most recently was about a year and a half ago. I lose track of time. He was going to be performing up here at the Mohegan Sun Pocono. What am I talking about? I think my brain's going. And I got to talk to him before that show. He's really genuine. And I'm going to play that last interview I had with Eddie Money as kind of a salute to his music. We'll do that after 9 o'clock. And the music, of course, of Eddie Money. Plus, we're going to do more Cars tonight, as we also lost Rickle Kasich earlier in the week. That's all straight ahead right here. It is Decades on the River 105 and 103.5 around the world. Decades with JoeyKramer.com. And the radio bowled out to your iPhone and Android device. More Decades coming up. Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
It's 9 o'clock.
Hey, everybody. This is Ivan from Men Without Hats. Hi, everyone. This is Russell Hitchcock of Air Supply.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. I know you were right, believing for so long.
Hey, everybody. It's Robert Mason from Warren.
Heaven isn't too far away. Closer to it every day.
And you're listening to Decades.
You're listening to Decades. Let's all hang out with Joey Kramer on Decades.
This is the Decades Artist Spotlight. Now, here's Joe E. Kramer with this week's artist.
We are on a Decades Artist Spotlight, and a kind of a salute more than anything else. Eddie Money passed away last week, September 13th it was, and I got to talk to him a few times. What a great guy. And my last conversation happened about a year and a half ago, so I decided, let's replay my last interview with Eddie Money and his music during the 9 o'clock hour, so that's what I'm going to do. It's a Decades Artist Spotlight with the replay of my last interview with the great Eddie Money. That is coming up next. And, of course, Eddie Money's music. I Think I'm in Love. This is the Decades Artist Spotlight as we salute the Money Man.
Ooh, something's got a hold on me now. It's a feeling, burning like a love on fire. Hold me tight, babe. Don't leave me by myself tonight. 'Cause I don't think I can make it through the night. I think I'm in love, and my life's forgot. I think I'm in love, 'cause I can't get enough. No, no, no. I think I'm in love. It's gotta be love. It surrounds me, moving like a sea of madness. It controls me, makes me do all the things I do for you. Roll around me, thinking about you now. And I don't know if I'll make it through the night. I think I'm in love, and my life's forgot. I think I'm in love, 'cause I can't get enough. No, no, no. I think I'm in love. It's gotta be love. I think I'm in love. No, 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 no. I think I'm in love, and my life's forgot. I think I'm in love, and I can't get enough. No, no, I think I'm in love. It's gonna be love. Think I'm in love, and I can do it with my spits and my life's forgot. And love, it's gotta be love. I think I'm in love. Just in your hand, you made me, 'cause I can't get enough. I know it's gotta be love. It's gotta be love. Love, and my life's forgot.
This is the Decades Artist Spotlight with Joe E. Kramer. This week's artist,
We're on a very special Decades Artist Spotlight this week. It seems like we're losing another great artist every single week. Eddie Money passed away on September 13th. Although he had cancer, it was a shock. And he passed away due to a complication from his heart valve replacement that he had back in May. So, I've talked to Eddie Money a few times. This was my final interview with Eddie Money about a year and a half ago, and we're going to do that right now on the Decades Artist Spotlight. It's another Decades Artist Spotlight. There's not much he doesn't do. He was a police officer. He turned singer, songwriter, guitarist, actor, saxophonist. He sold over 30 million albums, 24 chart singles. We got the Money Man here, Mr. Eddie Money. How you doing, Eddie?
Great. Thanks so much for having me on the show. It's a real pleasure. I heard a lot of great things about the show, and continued success to you.
Hey, and that's a lot of stuff to put into one paragraph, giving you an introduction, because you've done just about everything.
Well, I sold 33 million records. I should have saved the money, huh?
Congratulations! You're sober for how many years now?
I'm going on 4 years, yeah. Well, the thing is, I never drank before work. Bill Graham was rock impresario. He was my manager, but it was after work. I like to knock down the vodka and stuff like that. But I don't wake up with hangovers and stuff like that. It's a good life. I got 5 kids, and I don't want the kids growing up thinking their father was a drug addict and an alcoholic. Because when you have a bad reputation, it precedes you no matter what you do. The shows are going great. My voice sounds great. My weight's down. It's still got all my hair, and get out there and spin those tambourines, and away we go. And of course, my daughter Jessica comes out, and she's got a fantastic voice. She's got a promising career ahead of her. And then my new son, my middle son, Des Money, you can look him up. He's a great songwriter, and I think he's going to really take off. He's a good-looking kid, and I wanted him to be a dentist or a lawyer, but no, he wanted to get into rock and roll like his daddy.
And it's been over 40 years since you've been in this business. I mean, since you first started, getting it going. I mean, does it seem like it's been that long? 40? I mean, that's a long time to be in this business and be successful.
Well, you know what the thing is like there was FM radio, which was college-oriented radio, and then there was CHR radio, which was called AM radio, which is current hit rotation. I always made sure that I had a Baby Hold On the record, or Maybe I'm a Fool. You always gotta cater to both audiences of the radio, and I think the secret to my success is whenever I put a record out, I always had a top 10 single. You know,
right.
All you kids that are listening to this, listen to your Uncle Eddie. I know what I'm talking about.
And I want to talk about your music because, I mean, I have some favorite albums, and I know my listeners have a lot of favorite albums by you. But I want to talk about, your roots going back to the beginning. I mean, everybody knows you were a former police officer. But even before that, you grew up in Brooklyn. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I grew up in Brooklyn, and then when I found out what a duplicate report card was, and I had the greatest marks in the world, my father found out that I wasn't going to school for 7 or 8 months. Then we moved out to Long Island. And when I moved out to Long Island, I got in a band called the Grapes of Wrath, which was really a great band. And actually, I just saw Jersey Boys a ways back, and it reminded me to see Frankie Valli lose the daughter to drugs, something like that. I mean, I had a drug overdose. People say, "How did you OD?" I said, "Well, very simple. It was free. How do you think I OD?" But the thing that the point of the matter is that you got to take care of yourself. You can't, anybody can get loaded and drive their car up a bridge, or anybody can get busted for having marijuana in the car. You really, I'm telling you the truth. These kids, if you're going to grow up, have a better reputation than somebody like an Eddie Money, the crazy Eddie Money. But then again, when I hit that stage, I mean, my voice sounded great, and I had to work the room, and it's a gift. You know what I'm saying?
And yeah, I mean, you still rock a room, and there's no doubt about that. You play the songs people want to hear.
Well, we open up with Baby Hold On, then we do that song We Should Be Sleeping, which was a big commercial for a mattress company. I don't remember what it was, but then we go into Endless Nights. I do the song for all my ladies from the 80s, and then we got Walk on Water, we got Gimme Some Water, we got Shakin', we got Think I'm in Love, we Want to Go Back. So it's a really good set list. It's a great set list, and I thank God Almighty that I have all these great songs to play for all these people to enjoy.
What about your parents? Did they want you to be into the music business, or?
My parents wanted me to be, I was on the police department. My dad wanted me to be a cop. My brother was a captain on the police department. My grandfather was a cop. All my uncles were cops. If your father's a painter growing up, your son's a painter.
Right.
I wanted my kids because there's a lot of friends of mine that are in the business, that are in rock bands and do cover materials, and they're very good friends of mine. And it kind of breaks my heart that they never really had the success that I had. But still, rock and roll, it's a drug. You want to get up there, you want to play, you want to turn the amp up, you want to, you want your drummer to spin the sticks, you want to put on a great show, and music is the greatest gift in the world.
What made you say, hey, I want to get out from behind this desk and pursue my dream of being in the music business?
Well, when I went on the police department, you got to remember, I was in a typing in an all-girls typing class. In those days, guys didn't take typing classes. So when I went on the police department, they said, "Can anybody type?" And I looked around the room and I raised my hand. So I wound up working 8 to 4 instead of working around the clock like 8 to 4, 4 to 12, 12 to 8. I worked days, and I kept my rock band around at night. So we kept going out, and then my rock band moved out to California, and I just really missed playing rock and roll. And then I didn't really want to be. You look at these cops these days. It's a tough job. I mean, you look at you look at these civil service workers like the firemen and the guys that drive ambulances and police officers. I mean, these people work really hard to support their families and things like that. And I was very, very lucky to be a songwriter and to write it. When I wrote 2 Tickets to Paradise, they said it wasn't commercial enough for AM radio. So I turned around and Jimmy Lyons and I wrote Baby Hold On in 3 days. So I made sure that I had a hit single on the record. So the thing is there's a formula to writing a hit song. You got to start off with, you write an intro, then you write a verse, then you write a chorus, then you do the second verse, second chorus, then you go to a bridge, and you either go to another verse or 2 choruses and out. Rock and roll is a science. It's a formula.
In 1977, when you released your debut, you talk about 2 Tickets to Paradise, Baby Hold On, and it wasn't just those 2 songs in that album. There were a lot of good tracks. I love the cover, the Smokey Robinson cover. You Really Got a Hold on Me.
Yeah, I talked to Smokey about that, and he said to me that he liked my version better than the Beatles, and I just said, "Whoa!" I said, I was on cloud 9 when he said something like that.
The other song on there, "Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star," it just seems like it's such a great song to kick off your first album with.
Really, everybody wants to be. It was a great song, and my father, he didn't really realize it till I was on Saturday Night Live. at Midnight Special, and then I played Madison Square Garden, that I really achieved my goals, which was really, to see my father turn around and actually be proud of you. Every son in the world wants their father to be proud of them. So that was the turning point, was that my father accepted the fact that, I was a songwriter and an entertainer, and this is really what I wanted to do.
Hey, when you got out of that album, you had a huge success. I mean, a couple million albums it sells. You get onto your second album, Life for Taking, and you wrote that. You wrote that on the road.
Some of the songs I wrote on the road, and some of the songs I wrote prior to that. A songwriter writes songs always. I have a new song out right now called "One More Soldier Coming Home." And a lot of the proceeds that go into the Intrepid Fallen Hero Fund. I mean, these kids are coming back from Afghanistan with these head trauma injuries, and they have 2 facilities. They have a facility in San Antonio with 110 beds, and they just built a new facility actually in Maryland. So I do everything I can to help all these people that are serving our country, all these people in the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, the Army, and my heart goes out to these kids that are actually over there serving our country. You got to figure they're over there in Afghanistan. It's 114 degrees, and they got a 70-pound pack on their back.
Right.
I mean, they're not joining the service to come back and go to junior college. That's not what they're serving. They're serving our country because they love this country. And I sleep a lot better at night thinking that we got such great men and women in uniform over there that are very well trained, that are protecting and serving this wonderful country we live in.
And it's true. Whenever somebody sees somebody in the service, I wish everybody would go up and shake their hands and say, thanks for protecting us. And everybody has different views. Why are we here? Why are we doing this? But it all comes down to, if those guys weren't out there protecting us, I mean, who knows what would happen in this country?
Well, I tell you, when I get off the plane with the civilians, and we got some guys on the plane and women on the plane that are in uniform, I say, listen, guys, let's get together and give these guys a standing ovation when they get off the plane, and it makes them feel good.
You were on the road a lot. I mean, your first couple albums, you were continuously on the road, and you were saying that you had basically a collapse during the. Was it a concert right after you made the Playing for Keeps album? What was that all about? What was it caused by?
Well, you know what? It was probably overwork and being on a diet and not eating the right foods and everything else like that. You get out on the road, you smoke a million cigarettes, and in those days you were knocking down Bloody Marys at night and stuff like that. When you're not taking care of yourself, even if you're 27, 28 years old, I mean, God's going to turn and say to you, hey, guess what? You're going down.
You're not indestructible.
No, nobody's indestructible. But, I'll tell you the truth. You really got to get a certain amount of sleep. Now you got to take, and everybody says now I'm pre-diabetic. At 65 years old in this country, tell me who's not pre-diabetic. Now they got the doctor telling me no more pasta, no more cake, no more candies, no more cupcakes. I said to him, why don't you just shoot me in the parking lot?
I want to skip ahead to one of my favorite albums, and I know a lot of Eddie Money fans love this album, No Control. I mean, this was just from track one all the way through. I mean, there wasn't a weak song on this. I mean, of course you had Shakin' and I Think I'm in Love. The song No Control, I mean, fantastic. Every song on this was solid.
Well, actually, it's my favorite record, and I really made that record to let people know that, it was kind of like a warning record. They took me to the hospital. I wasn't going to go. My blood was running much too high. My heart was much too slow. The doctor had some questions, some things you want to know. My lady shook her head and said, the boy's got no control. I mean, the whole record was about you don't have to, watch your P's and Q's, watch your health, watch what you're putting into your body. I mean, it's like, that was like a warning record to everybody, all the songs on the record. But it was a great record, and it did really well for me. And it's funny you should mention that because that's my favorite album, too.
And you know what? I think Ace Frehley stole your riff for No Control because I hear a little bit of New York groove in that song, which is one of my favorites, too, obviously.
Well, I'll tell you, Dancing in the Dark, Dancing in the Dark sounds just like take a little bit.
It does.
I mean, a lot of people, if you listen to Runaway, it's the beginning of that. Bon Jovi stole it from Take a Little Bit. I mean, I have that songs that I thought that Bruce Springsteen have copied off me and the Bangles and everybody else like that. But you can't turn around and bitch about it. And when somebody's stealing your material, it's a compliment.
Now, Where's the Party was an album that, a lot of people didn't, it was a different kind of Eddie Money. Club Michelle, again, one of my favorite songs. For some reason, I played that a lot on my show. But what was up with that album? Because it seemed a little bit different.
Well, it was different. I wanted to make a different kind of record, and it wasn't really packed with a lot of singles to it. But Club Michelle was a great record. Of course,
it was.
My kids don't really get to see that video too much because my first wife was in it. But yeah, Club Michelle was a great record, and that single did really well for me. And people say to me, "Why don't you do Club Michelle on the road?" And people say to me, "Why don't some nights I forget to play Walk on Water or want to go back?" These people come down and they want to hear their favorite Eddie Money songs. So what you want to do is make sure that you come out there and play the songs that they want to hear. And when I see people happy and jumping up and down, and then I have people telling me, if they can see their first child in the back of a car is shaking. I said, I don't really need to hear that,
but it's nice to hear.
It's nice. It's nice to know,
It was about 3 years before you came back with another album, but Can't Hold Back, man. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, and when I hear Take Me Home Tonight, it still gives me goosebumps for some reason. Songs like Take Me Home Tonight, I mean, Ronnie Spector, I mean...
You know what? I talked to Ronnie all the time. When I called Ronnie up, I said, there's a song called Take Me Home Tonight, and they said it's got 2 choruses in it. The first chorus is Take Me Home Tonight, and the second chorus is from your original song, Be My Little Baby.
Right.
And I heard a bunch of clinking and clanking. I said, Ronnie, what are you doing? She says, well, I'm doing the dishes. I'm married now with 3 kids, and I'm not in the business anymore. So then she came out and she did the video with me, and she got that entertaining bug back in her body, and which is the greatest things in the world. Because now she does songs on the road right now, and there's certain clauses. Now her husband's in jail for apparently killing that woman,
right.
And there's certain songs that in certain situations she's not allowed to play. Be My Little Baby, because he's still got her hands around her throat and he's in jail. And being married to Phil Spector, he was an egomaniac, and he was I don't think he was a very good person, to tell you the truth.
So does Phil Spector get the check every time Take Me Home Tonight is featured in a movie, I guess?
Yes, Phil Spector's still making money in jail. Will Take Me Home Tonight. And what really makes me mad is Ronnie's not making a dime.
Your daughter does it now on the road with you, right?
Well, Jessica's got a great voice.
Yes, she does.
She's a great entertainer. And she just gets out there and she steals the show from me, and then I got to go back and try to get it back on. But then again, I said, why don't you go out there and sell some T-shirts and some CDs, and make some money for yourself and support the And I'm going, where's my daughter? And the guy said, well, she's supposed to be out here signing T-shirts. I make T-shirts up for an 8x10. So I said, well, she's knocking down Jägermeisters with the opening act's roadies. I said, oh my God. It's like my mother used to say to me, someday you're going to have a kid just like you. I said, now I know exactly
I know, but believe me, I have a 16-year-old and a 12-year-old, and my 16-year-old now. I look at my wife, because we've been together since high school. I'm thinking, did we do this? She just got a boyfriend. I'm thinking, I don't even want to think about anything.
Right.
I'm trying to forget my past completely. And speaking of your past, I want to go back when it was out. It didn't mean a lot to me, but now when I listen to that song, and it's one of my favorites, and I play it on my show continuously, it just brings back so many memories.
The greatest part about that song is I recall hanging out on Friday night, the first slow dance, hoping that I get it right. Don't you remember in high school?
Absolutely.
Dancing with your first young lady when you were a junior or a sophomore in high school, and of course, you always had the guidance counselor saying, not too close, not too close.
Yeah.
But who doesn't want to go back and do it all over again? I mean, come on. It's a great song, and people reminisce about the song, and they love it, and it's just great,
It gives you, again, it's another one of those songs that gives me goosebumps, because it means so much. What it meant to me back in, 86 was nothing. I was, 15 years old. Now, when I hear it, it just brings back a rush of memories forever. It really does.
Yeah, now you got to think about all these people grew up, all these housewives right now and husbands, they grew up listening to Eddie Money in their cars, and now the kids grew up with my music, and now I could actually have a 7-year-old jump on stage with me and know the second verse to think I'm in love.
Oh,
which
yeah.
Sometimes I forget. You got to lose little kids to the big Eddie Money fans. It's amazing. Back in the 80s, you had REO Speedway, you had Styx, you had Peter Frampton, you had me, you had so many great bands, and 38 Special. These guys they're still on the road. I know all these guys. And the reason they're still out there is because there's some great songs. I got nothing against rap at all. It's not my cup of tea.
Right.
But back in the late 70s and the 80s, you really had some really fantastic music out. It was just amazing. It was great. It's just a great period, great rock and roll period. I think people will say that the greatest rock and roll in the world still came out of the 80s.
I feel the hunger, it's a hunger and awake at night. Are you the answer? I sure wonder. When I feel with my appetite, with all the power you're releasing, it isn't safe to walk the city streets alone. Anticipation's running through me. Let's find the key and turn this engine on. I can feel you breathe. I can feel your heartbeat faster. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like a running sign. Be my little baby. Oh, oh, oh. I get frightened in the darkness. I get nightmares. I hate to sleep alone. I need some company, a guardian angel to keep me warm when the cold winds blow. I can feel you breathe. I can feel your heartbeat faster. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like Ronnie said. Be my little baby. Be my little baby. Just like Ronnie said. I said, just like Ronnie said. Be my little baby. Baby, my darling. I feel a hunger. It's a hunger. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like Ronnie said. Be my little baby. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like Ronnie said. Be my little baby. Home tonight. Be my
The late great Eddie Money on the Decades Artist Spotlight.
This week's Decades Artist Spotlight continues. Now, here's Joe E. Kramer with this week's artist.
We are doing a remembrance of Eddie Money tonight. I got to talk to him a few times. 2 years back, I had him on the show, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're replaying that interview, and it makes you sad. It really does, because he was a great guy to talk to, and you could tell by the first part of the interview, if this is the first, it's like talking to him, sitting down, having a drink, and just chatting with an old friend, and that's what it was like talking to Eddie Money. It really was. And his show, Real Money, is airing its second season on Access TV, and it was funny because he said he bought a gravestone next to Karen Carpenter on the show so people would actually come and see him. So it is ironic, but we're going to play part 2 of that interview coming up next, plus more great Eddie Money music, including his brand new single coming from his forthcoming album, which will be released, I believe it's going to be coming out sometime this fall. So I'll keep you updated on that. More Decades Artist Spotlight, a replay of the interview with Eddie Money right here on the show. We'll be right back. Hang on.
This is the Decades Artist Spotlight.
Northeast PA's The River. Listening to the radio, I heard a song first slow dance, hoping that I get it right. Back then I thought I'd never ever stand alone. It used to be that a lonely heart was never shown. I know now that things will never be the same no more. I wanna go back and do it all over, but I can't go back, I know. I wanna go back, 'cause I feel it so much older, but I can't go back, I know. You can't go back. I can't go back. I know now that things will never be the same. No, no. I said I wanna go back and do it all over, but I can't go back. Gotta know. I wanna go back, yeah. I feel it so much older, but I can't go back. I know.
This is the Decades Artist Spotlight with Joe E. Kramer. This week's artist.
This week we're doing a tribute to the late Eddie Money, an interview that I had with him a few years back. I hope you enjoy it as we continue. And we're going to play that new song by Eddie Money coming up, so please hang on as we continue my interview with the late Eddie Money. And, all of a sudden, you became really this big hit machine. You hit with Take Me Home Tonight. I Want to Go Back. Endless Nights is then another big hit. Your next album, and you have Walk on Water, The Love in Your Eyes. What clicked all of a sudden with mainstream that Eddie Money was all of a sudden, all over the radio continuously?
Well, you know what? Back in the 70s, when disco was really big, I'd have to go out there during the week and do Money, 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 and all these songs by the OJs and things like that. But then on the weekends, I'm out of Berkeley, California. I went to UC Berkeley. It's a college town, and that's when I did songs like Everybody Rock and Roll the Place and Life for the Taking. It was more geared for heavier music, for more of a college crowd thing. But, you got to have there's nothing wrong with a song like Maybe I'm a Fool or Baby Hold On. You know what? It was well written, and people really like it. And when I see people light up when they hear Baby Hold On, or they light up when they hear Maybe I'm a Fool, no, when I hear that, go, whoa, it's amazing. And it's a credit to me. And, somebody upstairs there in the big picture, I think the Lord Almighty, he's taking good care of me. My kids are all healthy, and my wife and I are still together. And, things are good.
Walk on Water, The Love in Your Eyes, which, again, is one of my another favorite of mine. I always seem to like the songs that weren't huge hits, but were on the radio. And it wasn't just people, you only have so many hits on an album. People often forget about the other songs. And these albums were, they were complete albums. I mean, from track 1 to track 10, it was, there wasn't a bad song. There wasn't a throwaway track.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to a song like I Can't Hold Back, it wasn't a big hit.
Right.
But it was a great song. When you go to my first album, a song like Don't Worry, which is a great song. Everybody Rock and Roll the Place. I mean, Everybody Rock and Roll the Place. Loverboy admitted they stole it to me and turned it into Everybody Working for the Weekend.
Which is a compliment, right?
It's a compliment. I'm very good friends with Mike Reno.
Absolutely. And, then I got to tell you, I didn't know many people who would redo a Romeo's Daughter album, which I've played Romeo's Daughter, believe it, on one of my segments of my show. But Heaven in the Backseat on the Right Here album, that's a great song. I mean, it's a great cover of it.
Yeah, Heaven in the Backseat, I just love that too. Of course, we don't do it live anymore, but every once in a while we'll pull it out of the hat, you know. Yeah, I'll Get By was a great song for me. And,
it was.
Actually, that really gave me the blues too, because I wrote that song because Bill Graham wanted me to do it, and then he tragically died in that helicopter accident. So that you know, I mean, I was very close to Bill Graham, and, you know, that kind of like it depressed me to do the song. But everybody loves Give Me One Last Look As You Walk Away. It's a great song. It really is, and people really enjoy it when they hear it. You know?
It is. I mean, that's the thing with you. I mean, you only have 90 minutes in a show. I mean, it's like you have so many hits, and there's so many deep tracks on some of these albums. You know, it's got to be hard to plan a playlist, a set list.
Well, I was on road with the Rolling Stones. I did about 6 shows with the Rolling Stones, and I got pretty close to Keith Richards. And Keith Richards says, "Well, you know what? Mick thinks you're great, and you got a lot of hits out right now, but, you know, we're going to have to get somebody else on the tour." I said, "Why not?" He said, "If you're getting too many encores, and Mick doesn't want to have to work that hard." And now that I'm Mick Sage, I'm going, I know exactly what he's talking about.
It really.
But getting thrown off a tour because you have too many successful hits is actually a compliment. I've always loved the Rolling Stones, and Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. When I met them backstage and I went into their dressing room, I was so pleasantly pleased to find out that they were just regular guys, just like you and me. They weren't like super big rock stars. They were just real cool people. And it was just like, wow, man, these people are no different. I met the guys in Led Zeppelin. I met Agent Plant. We talked to them. We spent about 45 minutes talking together. And it was just regular, they're just musicians, you know. They might be famous rock gods and in the Hall of Fame and all that stuff like that, but, you know, they just do the same thing that we do, you know?
And, you know, that's one thing I always tell people. Everybody always asks me, well, how is this guy you talk to, and how is this guy you talk to? And there's something about the artists from your time period that are a lot more real than trying to talk to somebody from today. And I'm not panning today's artists or music, but it's just, you're real. I mean, this is, you sound like a real person as compared to a star.
Right, well, you can't be a phony. If you get on the phone and you're phony, it's going to come back and bite you right in the butt. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't make up things about, you know, everything you say comes out of your mouth. You know, like I had a little riff with Kenny Loggins, and we, you know, he never put, when he did that song, All Right Now. I mean, I sang the bridge in All Right Now when we were label mates, and he never gave me the credit for the song that I sang. The song got a big, huge hit. And he never gave me the credit like Eddie Money did to help me out with the song. I mean, what was that all about? So that leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you know, and everybody recognizes the fact that that's not Kenny Loggins singing the bridge. Oh, turn it up, and anyway, you made me feel good. That's Eddie Money.
Right.
Why didn't I have my name on the record if it's Eddie Money?
Absolutely.
I didn't ask the guy to pay me. I just wanted credit for helping them out with the tune.
And that's all you need. Credit's sometimes better than money, just knowing that, you know, you were given the credit for doing something on that.
Sure. I mean, I do so many shows for nothing for the Cancer Foundation and the Heart Association. And, you know, I mean, every time I turn around, or I'm playing golf, I'm the worst golfer in the world. I play golf like Stevie Wonder at night. But when they win any money at a golf tournament to make money for, you know, for the Children's Hospital, I'm going to be there. You know, that's what it's all about.
And, you know, we talked about your daughter before, and you finally, in 2007, got her, you know, you played with her on your album, Want to Go Back, and hearing the two of you sing Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I mean, you're right. She has a phenomenal voice. I mean, it's great. It really is.
Yeah, she's really, I mean, Tammy Terrell who did that. She died of aneurysm in the brain when she worked with Marvin Gaye. But, yeah, we had a good time doing that record. It was Ain't No Mountain High Enough. It was a lot of fun. And having her on stage doing it with me was really great. And
when they see Want to Go Back, a lot of people think it's a greatest hits album, I've heard. And yeah, Build Me a Buttercup, Land of a Thousand Dances, Good Lovin'. I mean, your renditions of these, because you're a rocker, but you have that Motown to you, too.
Well, you know what? Actually, you got to tell you the truth. Those are songs that I did in high school with the Grapes of Wrath, you know?
Yeah.
Build Me Up, Buttercup, Land of a Thousand Dances. I mean, I didn't do Wilson Pickett's version. I did the original version. I just, you know, making that record was a lot of fun for me. And, of course, we did a great job on You Don't Know Me. I mean, I love Ray Charles.
Yeah.
I really do love Ray Charles, but I really think that my version of You Don't Know Me, which he wrote, I think it's a better version than his. Well, you know, when you give your hand to me, and then you know, Ray Charles is Ray Charles. My God,
absolutely. It's kind of a comical question, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. What was it like replacing the lizard in the Geico commercials?
You know, to do that commercial, my wife sent me that commercial, and they wanted me to do it. But originally, it was going to be they hit the CD player, and I was going to sing to the track. I was going to sing 2 Tickets to Paradise.
Right.
But then the last couple of versions we did, and then there was this famous Broadway actress that was in the Damn Yankees and Carousel. She was a legitimate. I've seen her on Broadway, and I had to fire her to put my wife in the commercial. And I understand this lady gave me the dirty look like my mother when I left my car in the driveway. And there's Lori getting all dressed up. She's got a pedicure and a manicure. She's changing her hair 5 different ways. She's changing this outfit into that outfit. It was like the Queen of Sheba up there getting ready for this commercial. And what they did is they didn't use the commercial with that version of the commercial. They used the commercial that was done a cappella. So my wife wound up on the editing room floor. So when people say to her, "How do you like your husband's commercial?" she'll say, "He sounds pitchy."
See, that can't go over well with you when your wife gets cut out of a commercial. That's got to be hard. That's got to be hard at home for you.
Well, you know what? I got cut out of a lot of things too. I mean, after Janis Joplin died, I was the lead singer for Big Brother and the Holding Company, and then I got fired because they had this fat, overweight blues singer named Nick Rabinitis came over, and because he was a blues singer, took my place. You now hope how heartbreaking it was to take Janis Joplin's place and then lose the gig to some fat old blues singer where the record went nowhere. I mean, life in this business has got a lot of disappointments. I mean, where you got a record out that you think it's going to go, and it doesn't go, and it's a lot of heartache in this business. That's why one of my kids, maybe to avoid the fact of not getting in the business, because this business, it can break your heart. If you're really on top, or say you got a record, it's number 32 with a bullet, and the next week it's 54 with an anchor. That happens to everybody.
And you touched on it before, but your latest song, "One More Soldier Coming Home." I mean, obviously, all the proceeds are going to the Fallen Heroes Fund. And if everybody, I want to tell everybody, all the listeners, you've got to see the video, because the video is powerful. It really is a great video, and it's a powerful video.
But actually, you know what? Actually, what I did was we have a new version of "One More Soldier Coming Home," and it's about my heart goes out to all the veterans that serve over there that don't come back in a body bag.
Right.
The new version is the kids are coming waiting for them at the airport. And it's more uplifting. And, I mean, you can't blame the military for not getting into "One More Soldier Coming Home," like join the Army, join the Marine Corps, get killed and be a hero. So now the version of the song is the guy comes back from so-and-so, wherever he's at, and he meets his wife and family, and the song is really up, and it's a beautiful song. Same melody line and everything else like that. I'll have to send you the new version.
Yeah, the video I saw was, it's just even without it's a powerful song. It really is. If anybody hasn't heard it, write to your website. You could get it. And you could check it out even on YouTube. I mean, it's a great song. It really is.
I really appreciate that. I'm very fond of the song myself, because it's about people, serving our country. I mean, my father was in World War II. When he joined in, he used his brother's ID, and my father was over there in the Marshall Islands dropping troops off with dead bodies in the water, and he was only 16 years old. Can you believe that? I mean, he landed troops on Iwo Jima. Of course, he never talked about it, but you got to think about everybody that served the country in the Korean War, World War II. Look at all these guys in Vietnam. I had guys that lost their lives that I went to high school with. I mean, it was something really touching. If you ever get the chance to see the Vietnam War, it'll really affect you. It's really to see how many people died during that horrible conflict for years.
And incidentally, on a more uplifting note, Eddie Money's going to be in concert right here. I mean, my studio is located in the Mohegan Sun at Pocono Downs, and you're going to be coming. It's a brand new hotel and convention center here, and you're going to be here on May 17th. And you were here, I think, about 2 or 3 years ago. You played outside on the racetrack, and now you're going to be...
Oh, yeah, that was a lot of fun, yeah. My wife was mad at me because I lost about $16. I should have bet the place to show instead of the win. You know how it is. I don't know that much about horse racing. Of course, every time I went to the racetrack, I'd run into Pete Rose. I said, "No, you weren't supposed to be gambling."
Well, just on baseball. He could do horses, I guess.
Right, yeah.
But the new convention center here is fantastic. They've been bringing in acts every week, and I guess we're going to see the same Eddie Money we always see. I mean, packed full of hits and...
Well, it's going to be a great show, and I'm actually trying to get my kids on that show too, because Desmond's band is really great, and my sister sings, and my daughter sings with him, and also my youngest son, he's 18 right now, he plays drums, and he's a great drummer. So you know me. My wife says to me, "Leave the kids alone. What are you, Joe Jackson?"
And unfortunately, everybody who comes in concert here is always on a Saturday, and that's when my show plays. So I do my show live,
Right.
and so I always miss all the concerts that come up here unless I run in between to look into the door. I miss all the shows, but everybody, May 17th, right here at the Mohegan Sun of Pocono Downs, it's going to be phenomenal. And you seem like you continuously tour still. I mean, you're always out on the road.
Well, you know what? I got my health, and my wife's got me in the treadmill and all this other stuff. I mean, about a year ago, she said, "Look at yourself on the video screen." I said, "What?" She says, "Well, you look heavy." I says, "Honey, the camera puts 10 pounds in you."
That's
you know,
all. That's what it is.
How many cameras did they use? So I got my weight down and everything's good. You know me, if it was up to me, I'd be laying in bed eating cupcakes, watching Sports Center. But
Well, yeah, your voice hasn't changed, man. Your voice is still as great as it was, and that gritty sound. I mean, it's the same as it's always been. Anybody to go see the show, it's going to be a great Eddie Money show. I mean, I guess you could attest to that, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have the world's greatest voice in the world, but I have a very recognizable
Yes, you do.
voice.
Either does
When
Rod
you hear my
Stewart. I mean,
voice-
look at Rod Stewart's voice. He doesn't have a great voice,
Yeah.
but it's recognizable, and that's what you have.
Exactly. But Rod Stewart was very smart. He turned around and did all those hits from the 40s and
Right.
50s, and he developed a following for people that are my parents' age. So this guy, he was, you know what he'd rather be, instead of being a rock star, he wants to be a soccer player. You know?
So do you ever think about any new music? I mean, it's been a long time since you've put out an album of all new material. It's been almost, 20 years since a new Eddie Money out. Do you ever think about putting out you obviously have the new, new song,
I've
but...
got a new record coming out soon, and One More Soldier Coming Home is going to be on it. And I got a song called "Shake That Thing," which is great. I got about 9 to 10 really fantastic songs. And I found out that once they buy your greatest hits, they're done with you. Once they can have "Baby Hold On" and "Two Tickets and Take Me Home Tonight," "Think I'm Love" and "Walk on Water" on the same record. But I've got a great record that maybe these Eddie Money fans or these kids will want to buy because it's got some really good music on it. And I plan on putting it out in the next 6 months. Along with, I'm actually trying to work on. I wrote a Broadway musical.
Oh
Very
yeah,
much like Jersey.
I forgot to ask you about that. Yeah, you do. You have a Broadway musical you're working on.
Well, it's already been working on. We did it at Dick Sills Performing Arts Center in Long Island. It was very successful.
I forgot to mention that. Tell us a little bit about that really quick.
Well, it's just about me being on the police department. My brother was in Vietnam. It takes place in the late 60s, not unlike Hair or Godspell or Jesus Christ Superstar. It takes place in the late 60s. My brother was in Vietnam. When I quit the police department and moved out to California, and then became successful, and then I had the drug overdose, and it's a very interesting play. And at the end of the play, of course, I moved Laurie up 20 years, and at the end of the play, that's what I call that artistic integrity, because you had to get your wife in the play. You know how that is. My wife is like she's like Lucy. I'm like Desi at the Copacabana, and Rich. She's like Lucy McGillicuddy. But the play's really cool. I think that the play's going to go. I'm hoping that's going to happen for me because it's a great play. And I've written some really good Broadway-type songs in it, like Roger and Hammerstein. I wrote a song called "I Only Want the World for You." Now my mother sings to me. A song I sing to my mother about "No More Goodbyes." Another song called "This Train Don't Stop Here Anymore." It's really a very heavy, wonderful play. It's got dances in it. It's really a cool play. I'm very excited about it.
Hey, Eddie, well, we're in a Decades Artist Spotlight, and I can't tell you what a pleasure it has been to talk to you. Got some new music in the works, and I'm a big fan. You get that new stuff out, I guarantee it'll be on this show, plus, of course, all your other great hits. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, thanks, everybody. Tell everybody to come down to Poconos, though. Tell them to come down to some shaking with the Money Man. Tell them I got 2 tickets, but I'm taking everybody.
You have a good night, Eddie. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for a great interview. I really appreciate it. Continued success. Eddie Money here. Where's the party? Right here with Joey Kramer on Decades.
I don't need to write a book about the chances that I took, all the hearts I had to break. I have to live with my mistakes, all the ghosts that haunt my past, all the dreams that didn't last. Burning candles, they both danced away to pretend, watching bad luck take away all my friends. As a boy I never cried, till the day my mama died.
This week's Decades Artist Spotlight continues. Now, here's Joe E. Kramer with this week's artist.
I hope you enjoyed that. That was a replay of my interview with Eddie Money, who I talked to a few times over the years. Always a great guy. He will be missed. He really would, because he was like music for the working man. He really was. And, you know, cancer's a horrible thing. And, you know, they say it was the heart valve that he had complications from. But that's the brand new song from Eddie Money. It came out a few months ago called Brand New Day. Apparently the album was completed, and I'm trying to find when it'll be released. It was supposed to be released in the fall. So whether that'll change or not. Real Money is still on Access TV in the second season. It's hard to watch. It really is, because you know what the outcome's going to be, and it's sad. It really is. But Eddie was a great guy. He really was. And we will miss you, Eddie. No doubt about it. We got more Decades coming up next. Don't go anywhere. John Parr in there. Debbie Gibson. And a little country from the 90s for our Lost track. All on the way right here. It is Decades. We're on the river, 105 and 103.5 around the world. Decades with JoeEKramer.com. And don't forget to download the Radio Bold app to your iPhone or Android device. More Decades coming up next. Hang on.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
It's 10 o'clock.
Hi there, this is Howard Jones.
Hey, this is Coons from John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
This is Nick Richards from Boys Don't Cry.
I wanna be a cowboy, and you can be my cowgirl.
And you're listening to Decades with Joey Kramer.
You're listening to Decades with Joey Kramer.
I've been listening to Joey Kramer's Decade Show, which is the business.
This is where the past comes alive. Decades with Joe E. Kramer starts now.
I realized if you want a bunch of ladies to be outside singing and dancing in front of the window here, all I have to do is play Don't Stop Believin', and I got a phone call, so probably think I'm an idiot. John Parr, this is Decades on the river.
Growing up, you don't see the writing on the wall. Passing by, moving straight ahead, you knew it all. But maybe sometime if you feel the pain, you'll find you're all alone. Everything has changed. Play the game. You know you can quit until it's won. Soldier on. Only you can do what must be done. You know it's some way you're not like me. You're just a prisoner, and you're trying to break free. I can see a new horizon underneath the blazing sky. I'll be where the eagles flying higher and higher.
on air, online, and on your mobile device. Decades is everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere.
Right here on Decades.
Joey Kramer. Turn it up. This is Decades.
And you know, we lost Eddie Money, and then we lost Rick Ocasek this past week, too. Another great guy gone. The Cars, one of my favorites. This was their last hit back in '88. You Are the Girl. Right here on Decades.
Why don't you dream anymore? What's in the way? what I came for. Still today, wait. Why don't you flash that smile? Make it easy to do. Why don't you stay for a while? Oh, well, it's up to you, 'cause you are the girl that keeps me up at night. You are the girl that makes me feel alright. You are the girl. Will you give me a twirl? You are the girl. You are the girl in my dreams. Why don't you dream anymore? What's another way? How come you point to the door? Then you ask me to stay. Why don't you flash out the smile? Make it easy to do. Why don't you stay for a while? Oh, 'cause it's up to you. You are the girl that keeps me up at night. You are the girl that makes me feel alright. You are the girl. Oh, you give me a twirl. You are the girl. You are the girl in my dreams. Well, you are the girl, and you give me a twirl. You are the girl. You are the girl in my dreams. Oh, you are the girl in my dreams.
Decades with Joe E. Kramer and another lost track from the 90s.
Dancing in the dark, middle of the night, taking your heart and holding it tight. Emotional touch, touching my skin, and asking you to do what you've been doing all over again. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Don't think I can keep it all in. I just gotta let you know what it is that won't let me go. It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's your love. Better than I was, more than I am. And all of this happened by taking your hand. And who I am now is who I wanted to be. And now that we're together, I'm stronger than ever. I'm happy and free. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Don't think I can keep it all in. And if you ask me why I've changed, all I gotta do is say your sweet name. It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's your love. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. I can keep it all in. I just gotta let you know what it is that won't let me go. It's your love. It just does something to me. It sends a shock right through me. I can't get enough. And if you wonder about the spell I'm under, oh, it's your love. It's your love.
This is Decades, Your Love. People ask why I play some of his songs, but you got to think about it. 1997. I mean, this is basically the 80s and 90s. That's what we do on this show. And that song is 22 years old, believe it or not. Hit number 7 on the pop chart. Single of the Year, Song of the Year, Video of the Year, Vocal Event of the Year at the Academy of Country Music Awards. Was nominated for 2 Grammy Awards, Best Country Collaboration and Best Country Songwriter. Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, right here on Decades. All right, I forgot to mention, next Saturday night, which will be my birthday, by the way. Won't see how old I am, but my birthday will be next Saturday night. Singing with the Sam will be back. The Sam will be here. We'll be singing a birthday tune. Maybe she'll let me pick the song that we do, so we'll see what happens. And we're coming up on the Halloween show. October 26th, the Paranormal Investigators of the Poconos will return again this year, and excited to have them on and check on what kind of paranormal things they've been doing over the last year. So that's for our Halloween show coming up in about a month, believe it or not. And then it's straightforward into Thanksgiving and Christmas, the best time of the year. Johnny Mathis, by the way, back for Christmas too. All right, more Decades coming up. Madonna, OMD. What else? Positive K and more right here. This is Decades on the River 105 and 103.5. Around the world, Decades with JoeEKramer.com. The Radio Bold app for your iPhone or Android device. We will be back in less than 2 minutes. That's less than 120 seconds. Don't go anywhere. More Decades coming up.
The radio's all yours now.
Let's have some more music. Turn it up louder.
Now, here's a very popular number.
This is a guaranteed gold record.
Oh, Maestro, don't forget your cue now.
Now, back to the music. This is Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
Life is a mystery. Everyone must stand alone. I hear you call my name, and it feels like home.
everything is so dancey nowadays, but this was a great song. Madonna, Like a Prayer. Maybe we'll do that on Sing What the Sam. Who knows?
It's Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
Northeast PA's the river.
So my neighbor got one of these Apple doorbells. It is the most awesome thing ever. I'm able to go over her house when she's not home and do all kind of things in front of it, and it goes directly to her phone, and I'm having more fun with it than I ever would have thought, ever. OMD, 1988 dreaming of this is Decades.
If you were born in heaven, girl, I'd understand so well. But ever since I met you, child, you made my life such hell. With every day that passes, I fall into the ground. It seems that I've been looking for something that won't be found. I was only dreaming. I was only trying to catch your eye. I was only wishing you would notice me. Instead, you said goodbye. Could this be the new incident to all the dreams we've made? Could there be some solution, please, to rid me of this pain? But every single second that you held me in your arms, you build me up, you raise me up, you kill me with your charms. I was only dreaming. I was only trying to catch your eye. I was only wishing you would notice me. Instead, you said goodbye. I was only dreaming. I was only trying to catch your eye. I was only wishing you would notice me. Instead, you said goodbye. I was only dreaming. I was only trying to catch your eye. I was only wishing you would notice me. Instead, you said goodbye.
Decades with Joe E. Kramer.
Joe E. Kramer.
Hey yo, sweetie, you're looking kinda pretty. What's a girl like you doing in this rough city?
I'm just here trying to hold my own ground.
Yeah, I think I like how that sound. What you say we get to know each other better?
That sounds good, but I don't think that I can let you.
I don't know, tell me, is it so? Do you get a kick out of telling brothers no?
No, it's not that. See,
tell you now, I got eyes for you.
You got eyes, but they're not for me. You better use them for what they're for, and that's to see.
You know what's the problem? Young is still learning. I'm Big Daddy Long stroking your man's Pee Wee Herman.
I got a question to ask you, truth. Are you a chef? Cause you keep feeding me soup.
You know what they say about those who sweat themselves. You might find yourself by yourself. I'm not waiting because I'm no waiter. So when I blow up, don't try to kick it to me later.
All them girls must got you gas.
Or when they see a good thing, they don't let it pass.
Well, that's okay. You see if that's their plan. Cause for me, I already got a man.
What your man got to do with me?
I got a man.
I'm not trying to hear that, see?
I got a man.
What your man got to do with me?
I got a man.
I'm not trying to hear that. What am I? Some crabbing mate that just came home from jail sweating you for a date? I don't want no beef, I just want to get together.
On how you talking? Psh, whatever.
We can't have nothing.
It all depends.
Well, if we can't be lovers, then we can't be friends.
Well, then I guess it's nothing.
Well, hey, I think you're
Well,
bluffing.
I'ma call my man.
Well, I can get ragamuffin. You better catch a flashback. Remember, I'm not crabbing it. You know my style, but I'm not having it.
All I remember is, and excuse me, miss, you can't beat a girl like me with a line like this.
Well, look, I treat you good.
My man treats me
I
better.
talk sweet on the phone.
My man writes love letters.
I'll tell you that I want you and tell you that I care.
My man says the same, except he's sincere.
Well, I'm clean cut and dapper. That's what I'm about.
My man buys me things and he takes me out.
Well, you can keep your man, cause I don't go that route.
No, you know you're out for respect me.
There's a lot of girls out there who won't say no.
You're out for mommy with your DJ money.
Boom, batter, my pockets is getting fatter. I wanna turn you on and excite you. Let me know the spot on your body and I'll bite you. So when your man don't treat you like it used to, I kick in like a turbo booster. You won't love and you don't have to ask when. Your man's a headache, I'll be your aspirin. All confusion, you know I'll solve them.
I got a man.
You got a what? How long you had that problem? What your man got to do with me?
I got a man.
I'm not trying to hear that, see?
I got a man.
What your man got to do with me?
I got a man.
I'm not trying to hear that.
I got a man.
Hey, yo, baby, put it up and down, no preservatives and additives. I told you I treat you right. Oh, come on, now ain't no cute shit front.
I'm not having
Come on, miss. Oh, we back on that again.
Positive K, I got a man. He's actually singing both the male and the female version because he didn't have the budget to go out and get a female to sing. True story. We don't make things up here on Decades. David Lee Roth getting ready to kick off his Las Vegas residency. So if you're going to Vegas, you can, I don't know, watch him sing. Does he really sing? It's more talking, but he's an entertainer. That's what I've been told. So he'll be in Las Vegas, I think, for 2 months or something like that to start off. This is one of my favorites by Van Halen from 1984. Oh, wait, this is Decades.
You got me captured.
Decades with Joe E. Kramer and another lost track from the 80s.
Never surrender.
Never Surrender. Kickboxer was the name of the movie. He, we also know him for the touch from the Transformers movie. And he just did, he had a new album out 2 years called Change the World. He has a new single that was released not too long ago called The 80s. So I'm going to have to get that on the show. I didn't realize he had a new one on. I have to try to get him on the show. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think that'd be very cool. Anybody who likes the Transformers is cool with me. All right. Oh, it's another night going by so quick. Hope you enjoyed our replay of the Eddie Money interview. If you didn't, it'll be online, decadeswithjoeykramer.com. We also have 2 Facebook pages. We have Forever 80s, Decades with Joe E. Kramer radio show. Just type in Decades with Joe E. Kramer. We also have Forever 80s with a couple exclamation points. And you can join that one, too, and share 80s memories with all. We got more decades coming up. The Cure, PM Dawn, Michael Jackson, a little 90s Michael Jackson, and, of course, some Weird Al. Can't go without Weird Al. It's all straight ahead. This is Decades on the River 105 and 103.5 around the world. Decades with JoeEKramer.com, the Radio Bold app to your iPhone or Android device. So don't go anywhere. More decades on the way. Hang on.
Dino and Francesco's